Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Alright everybody, here we are with our friend Joel. Now Joel is not homeless, but he's happy. And the reason I say that is, as you can see, Joel is in great shape for his age. He's 105. No, Joel's
3,000.
Joel actually, he's an opera singer and a performer, actor, and he's been a raw food diet for a long time. But the reason why he's really happy is he's free. He has a beard. He has a big beard. Tell us about your beard, Joel.
Well, there's nothing to say. It's just that all men have beards, and some don't know that there was a big advertising campaign to shave, and I didn't fall for it. That was in the 1920s. They came up with this expression, 5 o'clock shadow, and it was evil and bad, and nobody wanted to have that, so they began to look like women. I don't think that's necessary. I think the men could look like men. It's like lions. I mean, if the lions shaved, they would look like lionesses. So we don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. But it's okay. If people want to do it, it's great. I'm not against it, but I just don't have time for stuff like that. I just think I'd rather be myself.
Do you see any health aspects to having a beard?
Well, I think we were given it for a reason. I mean, we are part of the creation, and I don't think it's extra. I don't think it's as superficial. Also, a long time ago, I remember I was still in college, I had a very, very heavy beard when I shaved. You know, when you get shaved, my girlfriend, I mean, her face was red because my beard was like sandpaper. And then I went to a barber one day, and he's an Italian barber, and he said, you don't come back anymore because your beard like railroad spikes. So I just never went back, and that was it.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, many years ago.
When is the last time you shaved? How many years ago?
More than 40 years ago.
More than 40 years. Now people might think he can't grow a big beard 40 years and it's only that short, but it's actually long. It's
very long, but I make a compromise for everyday purposes so that I don't have to be called Moses every 5 minutes or Jesus. I roll it up. I have a technique of tucking it in, let's say. And I use that sometimes in different parts. But the interesting thing is, it's like a telescope. I can make it longer, and I can make it any length. And I just had a part in a movie where I played Socrates, and in ancient Greece, everybody was curly. Everything had to be curly because that's how the Greek athletes were, the strong Greek athletes. So I had to have my beard curled. It took 2 hours, but there was a hair person there who did it. She was terrific, and I was Socrates.
Wow.
From the David painting of, the famous one from...
When you're at home, do you let your beard go just...
Oh, definitely.
Now, some people ask me, they say, oh, isn't it hot with a beard? And for me, personally, it's actually cooling because the sun doesn't get on your skin. Do you find the same thing?
Of course. I mean, we're made this way. This is the way we are, and I understand it, and I'll just leave it alone.
Exactly. Some people say to me, when are you going to let us see a real face? I said, this is my real face. So how big is your beard really?
Well, it's about down to here.
Wow.
It depends. It depends on how curly it is or how the weather. But I think that we should just allow ourselves to be the way we were created.
Do you comb your beard?
No. I do brush it sometimes. I've used the beard in many different operas, especially in Russian operas, especially Boris Godunov, my favorite, and in some parts I've used it very well. It's very good in costume movies, especially for the 19th century. People have called me Robert E. Lee, General Lee on the street, and Grant on the $50 bill, and even Lincoln. I mean, those are the days when men were allowed to be men and didn't have to fall for this effeminate style. So I think I want to go with the more manly look.
Now, Joel's an actor. He's been in several movies. You might recognize him.
Well, I did a yogi in Eat, Pray, Love, which is coming out this summer. I don't know when. I think in August or late July. It's very noisy here. We're in a very...
Now, you've been on a raw food diet for how long?
Well, I first, luckily, got to know Ann Wigmore very well in 1971 in Boston in the original Hippocrates Health Institute, and I was raw for 3.5 years. Anybody who met her became raw immediately. And so I was very grateful for that, but unfortunately a friend, well maybe it was fortunate, I don't know, a friend talked me into eating some cooked food at a macrobiotic restaurant, and so I ate some cooked food, but I was mainly raw as a vegan, except sometimes I wasn't 100% raw, but I have been 100% raw for since 98, I've been 100% raw.
Wonderful. Going back to the beard, it's just intriguing. When you first grew it, it obviously wasn't gray.
No, that's not the way to say it. When it always grows.
Joel, by the way, knows 5 languages. He's fluent in.
I speak many languages.
And he's also in English, and he helps me with my English because I talk Brooklynese.
Well, Brooklynese is a valid way of
But anyway, so you don't grow a beard, you shave, you take your beard off.
No, you don't shave. It's the same thing as the diet. I would say it doesn't matter what you eat, but it does matter very much what you don't eat.
Okay, so tell us about the beard. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Well, it grows. It's not a question of my choosing for it to grow. It grows. My choice is to shave or not to shave.
Some people tell me
choose not to shave.
Some people tell me that they can't grow a beard. I said, well, then why do you shave? They just don't like the way it looks, right?
Well, you have to give it a chance.
We have an obsession in this world today with shaving, not just with men, but with women. What do you think about women shaving? Do you think that's unhealthy and unnatural?
Well, one of the things that I know for sure is very unhealthy is to the underarm shaving, especially if aluminum-containing deodorants are used, because that can ease. If they had hair under the arms, it would protect the skin from absorbing so much of the toxicity of the deodorant. But since they don't have hair and then they use that deodorant directly on the skin, it's a problem. So it's been linked to a lot of serious problems.
Even women shaving their legs is not natural.
Well, I lived in Italy in the 60s, and I enjoyed it very much, and people didn't know about shaving their legs. And then they wore nylon stockings, and some of them had very long leg hair, the women, and then when they put on the the nylon stockings, it was like marbleization. It was like they had marble swirls on their legs. Very interesting. It's sexy. I think hairy legs are sexy. If it's women, yeah, definitely.
How come in the old days, presidents used to have beards and politicians used to have beards, but today it's like they're scared to, and then when they go out of public office, the first thing they do is they grow a beard often.
Well, they stop shaving, I would put it that way.
They stop shaving.
Well, the style came from ancient Greece, the classicism in ancient Greece. And classicism in ancient Greece was an 18-year-old athlete, and he didn't have a beard yet, or a very slight trace of a beard. Sometimes they did get depicted with beards, but that became the classical style and the classical look. So the Romans, when the Imperial Roman period came, they copied the early ancient Greek classicism, and that way they were shown without beards. But then later, beards got into style. If you look at Trajan or Caracalla, no, not Trajan, Hadrian, Caracalla, later on, beards were very much in style, and they were in the 19th century. There are very few periods in history where beards weren't in style, and those were the periods when men were more effeminate, such as the time when they had to wear the powdered wigs in the 18th century. Beards were absolutely not there. How could they powder their faces and wear pillboxes? And, you know, with the 20th century, again, there was a return to classicism, and the beards went. And definitely in the 1920s or 30s. And I absolutely can't be in those movies because they're doing a lot of movies now that are in the 1920s and 30s, but they don't realize that not everybody was clean-shaven, because the older men who were in the 1890s still wore their beards. Monty Woolley is a good example of that.
Sure. What else you want to say about beards before we close off?
Well, I would just leave them alone. I think they're beautiful. They're individual. Everybody has a different one. And my favorite period in art is the Italian Renaissance, and even the Northern Renaissance. And you see so many different individual beards. That's one of the things. It's a question of individuality. But when people have to do a company And you know, if they have to work for a big company and they have to be all the same, or let's say in some religious orders, the facial hair goes. It just has to go because everybody has to be alike. So beards are too individual for that.
Well, all right, let's try this one.
Opportunity.
All right, everybody. How do you think he looks with the hat? All right, everybody.
Anyway,
there you have
charming,
it. Joel Brody.
thank you.
Joel, are you on Facebook?
No.
Okay.
No, but I do have a video on YouTube of some acting roles.
Okay, I'll put
under my name.
I'll put the link under here. And all right, thanks a lot, Joel.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Beards that reach down to your toes, and beards that grow right